of 2025. Debut all the way down to Tortured Poets Department. I'm so excited to read this one. Calling me out. Totally calling me out. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. Welcome to our August TBR, our last summer TBR of 2025. That is so sad. I can't believe it's already August. Like, it is literally August 2nd today. I've only been to the beach a couple of times. I need to go to the beach every single day this August. That's the only way that I'm gonna feel better about myself, because what do you mean it's the last month of summer? And you're picking our August TBR. Last year, we used our advent calendar every month to pick our monthly TBRs. This year, because I found so many different fun ways to pick your TBR last year and I wanted to incorporate them, we are doing a different way to pick our TBR every single month. January, we use dice. February, we use conversation hearts. March, we used a random number wheel and my Notion template. April, we used my pets. They chose my TBR, which was so cute and so much fun. It's still my favorite one that I filmed. May, we did, I think, rainbows. June, we didn't do any TBR. I know, crazy. I just kept on reading our May TBR. July, we used the alphabet. August, for this month, we're going to use the ERAS. So I had like 3 different ways that I had in mind to choose my TBR for this month. One of them was like based on my bookshelves. One of them was based on Disney princesses, which was also super cute. I decided to go with ERAS. Read through the ERAS is going to choose our TBR for August. I got this off Pinterest. If I could find like who created it, then I will link them below. An overview of what it looks like. Basically, it goes all the way up from debut all the way down to Tortured Poets Department, and it's almost like a bingo board where each space has a different like prompt for you to pick your TBR from. We usually do like 7 or 8 books on our monthly TBRs. We're gonna use this fun little coin that I actually have from Singapore. Actually, what's crazy, today, August 2nd of last year, I was on my way to Thailand for 3 weeks, and that was, I tried. Let's just say I tried to be on my way to Thailand today, last year, but it got delayed several times. I have a couple videos on it. You can go watch them. It was like the worst travel day of my entire life. But when I got to Thailand, we went to Malaysia, went to Singapore. It was so much fun. I had so much fun. So it's just kind of crazy that like this time last year, I was on my way to Thailand. This is a Singaporean coin that I had from last year. We are going to flip this coin and whatever it lands on, that's our little prompt we're gonna use for our TBR. 35 different options here. So we have a lot of different options and I'm excited to see which ones we get. I like this because it is a challenge where it's like some of the books that I don't normally look at, I will have to really try to find something to match these prompts. I have this cat tower right here. I am going to put our paper here. We're gonna flip our coin and we're gonna see what we get. They have some really cool ones on here, like blank space is your choice. King of my heart is dream love interest. I just think it's such a fun way to do it. Ready? We got Timeless, a historical fiction. Oh, okay. I didn't think we would have historical fiction. I don't know if I have literally any historical fictions in my entire library. I have so many books. There are over like 400 books in here, and I don't think not one of them is a historical fiction. I never read historical fictions, literally ever. The closest I would be able to come would be like one of my classics that I have up here, and they're not historical fiction. There's one author that's really popular that usually writes historical fictions. I think I have one of her books. Oh, Kristen Hanna. Kristen Hanna writes historical fiction. And the only book that I have of hers is Firefly Lane. So it takes place in the 1970s. I think this would qualify. Spanning more than 3 decades and playing out across the ever-changing face of the Pacific Northwest, Firefly Lane is the internationally best-selling story of 2 women and the friendship that defines their lives in the turbulent summer of 1974. You guys, I think this qualifies. I did not know I had a historical fiction book at all. We're gonna do it, guys! We're gonna pick Firefly Lane for our timeless historical fiction. I love the song Timeless. It was on her Speak Now vault tracks. I'm surprised it hasn't been a more popular wedding song. It's such a cute song. But what's cool is that this is also became a Netflix original series. So once we read this, we can watch the series. I love adaptations, and hopefully it's a good one. I also have heard a lot about Firefly Lane in the past. It is what it sounds like. It takes place over 30 years, and it's about two women in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I've never read a Kristen Hanna book, but I know a lot of people love them. A lot of people love Kristen Hanna as an author. So our first historical fiction, I think ever, is going to be Kristen Hanna's Firefly Lane. Let's see what our next one will be. I have to make sure it stays like on this like cat scratcher. Let's see. 7. The title has a number in it. Alright, we could do that. I know that I have a lot of titles with numbers in them. Also, look at this cute. It is a shirt, but it's also like a skirt. I got so many compliments on it when we went to breakfast, my boyfriend and I today. It's from Free People, and I think it's just so cute. It's just like a fun little summer shirt. The only one I'm seeing is the 7-year slip. Oh, you guys! I found one! I'm so excited to read this one. I'm going to choose One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. My relationship with Carly Fortune books has been tumultuous. I have them all except the first one. I think their covers are always so beautiful. They're like sunset paintings that she does. They're so beautiful. I liked her first book, Every Summer After, but then I read Love in Other Words and I like that better, and those two are just so similar that I kind of don't really think about Every Summer After anymore. I did not like Meet Me at the Lake. It just wasn't for me. And I really like This Summer Will Be Different. I read that a few months ago. This is her new release this summer. It is called One Golden Summer, and it is about Charlie, who is the brother from her first book, which is kind of fun. But Charlie, like, I never thought that he would get a book because he's not like the best guy, I don't think. If I remember correctly, he's not portrayed as like the best guy in Every Summer After. So I'm interested to see what she does with his story. People that have read this have said they've loved it. It is about Charlie and Alice. Charlie is our brother from the first book, Every Summer After. It takes place on the lake. Alice is a budding photographer, and she spent every summer at her grandma's cottage. And when she was 17, she took a picture of a yellow boat. There's the boat right there. It's like always been like the picture that she always looks at when she thinks about how wonderful lake life was in her past. It's a few years later, Alice sees the yellow boat again when she goes back to her nan's house, and she's like, I need to know who this guy is that's been in my mind all these years because of his yellow boat. And I'm guessing it ends up being Charlie. Carly Fortune, definitely, her writing style has improved so much from the first book. I'm really expecting this to be a really good one. We're gonna do One Golden Summer for our 7, aka book with a number in the title. Choice. I have to change my battery. Give me a minute. Alright, we're back with our new battery pack. This one makes me a little bit nervous because it says it has 2 bars, and sometimes that means that it's about to die and I didn't charge it. So hopefully this lasts till the end of this TBR video. Let's pick our 3rd book. We are going to do 8 books because even though I have never actually gotten through a full monthly TBR, I like to have 8 books so I can like have a good range to pick from throughout the month. Let's see what T Swift era is gonna go next. Okay, so it looks like it's on Cardigan, takes place during fall. Oh my, simultaneously fun and sad because this is our last summer TBR, and that means we're going to fall, obviously. And I know people are ready for fall. I'm not ready for fall. I still like summer. I'm like, we're picking a fall book. That's like that. I guess that is kind of fitting. Okay, let's see. I love this on Cardigan. It's probably one of my favorites from folklore. I feel like books that take place in fall are all about taking place in fall, you know? So I am looking for a more like fall-esque cover. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to look up books that take place in the fall. It is very hard to find a book that takes place in the fall that doesn't immediately just say like this takes place in the fall. Alright, we got a lot of Halloween books. Makes sense. There's the Pumpkin Spice. Wuthering Heights. I have Wuthering Heights. The Night Circus, I have The Night Circus. What is explicitly listed as taking place in the fall is Wuthering Heights, which I have right here, and, oh shoot, what was the other one? The Night Circus. These are our 2 options of taking place in the fall. Very different. I want to do it, you guys. I have read classics, but not in a long time. So I think we're gonna choose Wuthering Heights. What? Who am I? Whose channel is this that we're choosing a classic for our TBR? I have been trying to build up my classics library. I have The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, Phantom of the Opera, Great Gatsby, Alice's Adventures, and then there were none. And I also have Wuthering Heights. Oh, and I just bought Pride and Prejudice. So we're building up our classics library. I haven't read Emily Bronte before. I think I'm gonna go ahead and read Wuthering Heights. I have also made it a point to get like special editions of all the classics and like different kinds of special editions. I have Wizard of Oz, which is like the like painted special edition. And then I have The Lord of the Rings, which is like this big edition. Great Gatsby from Fingerprint Classics. I think that's what this one is from too. And then I have like a fun Alice Through the Looking Glass one. So I'm trying to get like different versions of different classics. So we have this version for Wuthering Heights. I feel like I am in my reading journey enough where I love me some fantasy, I love me some romance, and just the general fiction book. I want to read a classic because there are so many famous quotes from this book, so it has to be a classic for a reason. Even on the back, this one says, "He's more myself than I am. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same." That's so pretty! That's such a pretty quote. Isn't this the book? I think this is the book that Bella was reading. Isn't it? I don't know. Crazy that my biggest relation to Wuthering Heights is the book that Bella was reading in Twilight. But I'm pretty sure Bella was reading this book in Twilight. There are quotes taken from Wuthering Heights in Twilight, so that's fun. Alright, we're choosing Wuthering Heights. I'm excited to read a classic. I think it's about time that I get back on my classics grind. Maybe this month I'll do like a whole like reading classics that I haven't read before video. I feel like that could be fun. Okay, next we got Endgame has a happy ending. I'm just assuming not all these romance books have a happy ending, so we're gonna go for romance books. I feel like fantasy books don't always have happy endings, but generally romance, contemporary romance books have happy endings. We're gonna go with one of those, and the one that we're gonna go with, sorry, just went feral. People We Made Application by Emily Henry. Emily Henry's one of my favorite authors, just like ever. Happy Place is one of my favorite books ever. So is Beach Read, but do you know why this is in my mind now? They're making it into an adaptation. I don't think it's a series, I think it's a movie where they're starting filming now. Do you know who our main character is? Tom Blythe. It's gonna be on People We Meet on Vacation. And I am seated and ready for it. I'm so excited. I'm excited to be back in Emily Henry's writing world. I did start this years ago. It's about Poppy and Alex. If I remember, they were best friends and then something happened and they haven't talked since. Now Poppy's in a rut and she remembers the last time she was ever happy was with Alex, like 2 or whatever years ago. So she calls him up and I think they agree to go on a vacation together, but they pretend they're like strangers and they don't know each other to see if they can, I guess, like redo whatever went wrong a couple years ago. And I think that's such a fun premise. It says the perfect getaway. So why not add in a vacation book for one of our last summer TBR books? I feel like that is fitting. And then we can move into Wuthering Heights when we're like going into fall, you know? Number 5, our 5th book with Taylor Swift's ERAS. That was on 7, which we already picked a number, so let's try again. Oh, and that's the problem with being on a race surface. 3rd time's the charm. 3rd time's the charm. Oh my gosh. All right, we got The Archer, a fantasy novel. Yes! I'm so excited. I love fantasy. If you watch my book lore video, fantasy is my comfort genre. I love it. We haven't had any fantasies yet, so I'm excited to add one. Oh my gosh, there's so many options. We are going to do The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This book had a time last year in 2024. I remember specifically that this book was so popular. Probably maybe even 2023 when Forest Wing was really popular. This was the next book that became super popular. It's a Crowns of Nixia novel, and it is, I started reading, like, I think I read like a couple pages of the first book before, but I had never gotten actually like all the way through. It got put on the back burner and like softy enough. But I think I'm ready to go back into it. It is The Nightborn Duet, which confuses me because duet usually means 2 books, but I literally have 3 books right here. Oh, this is a different one. These are a grouping, and this has another book with a duet. Interesting. It is about a vampire, I want to say, and a human, I think. Yes, This was at the time when like trials were super popular, I feel like, in the fantasy world. So this is about more trials. And I think that Aurea is a human, and she has a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. The text on this page, I really appreciate the text that she used. That is just so satisfying to my eyes, and I'm excited for it. I want to see what the hype is about. I want to know why everyone's so obsessed with this year though. And I am late to the bandwagon, like I always am, but we're gonna try it this month. I'm excited to get back into fantasy. I am ready to do a whole other fantasy world. Fourth Wing Universe, the Empyrean Universe, is like my favorite fantasy world, but I'm excited to see another fantasy world. All right, next one. Okay, so it looks like we landed on King of My Heart, Dream, Love Interest, Xaden. Well, listen, it's probably gonna be a fantasy because I love fantasy, male love interests. You know what? I don't even think that hard because I know which one I'm gonna choose. We're gonna give this one a try. We're gonna give Powerless a try. I know this is super popular. I have not gotten into this world yet, but it is by Lauren Roberts and it is about Kai and Peyton. And I've heard so much about Kai and Peyton. Like, I am just assuming this man is a dream man because the amount that I've heard about Kai, having never read the book, is kind of insane. Like on TikTok, for some reason, it like recommends me this book, and I know because she has white hair. So whenever I see like a fan art of the girl with white hair and another guy, I'm like, that's Powerless. I think I started it. Yeah, I started it. I was on chapter 5 and I never finished it. Just have a feeling that Kai is like a dream love interest because people are so obsessed with him. I think this book specifically because I think this book is really good. The second book, Reckless, I heard is like not as good, and the new one that just came out, Fearless, I haven't heard much about. If I remember correctly, Peyton is like an ordinary and Kai is a prince and also like an elite. So like the elites, I think, in this world like have powers and the ordinaries don't. Kai is the prince, so he has powers, and then Peyton, because she's an ordinary, I think they tried to like eliminate all the ordinaries in the world, but then somehow like Peyton didn't get discovered, so she has to basically become homeless with her best friend that starts with an A. I forget what her best friend's name is. Adina. She's basically like a thief, and she has to steal their living. And I think what happens is she ends up in another tournament. Like I said, this was like this and Serpent and Wings of the Night was a time when like tournaments were huge in fantasy books, but she has to go against elites. That's what I think happened. This has great enemies to lovers potential. I'm excited. We're gonna give Powerless a try. 2 more for our errors. I think this is a fun way to choose our TBR. I am ready to listen to all of these songs. I'm gonna like play that song before I start reading the book that I chose. And it rolled right off. We have Back to December. Takes place during the winter. No! I am trying to cling on to our last month of summer, and it wants you to pick a winter book. Well, again, just like how fall books, I feel like you like know that they take place in the fall. Winter books, you know they take place in the winter. The one that I know for a fact does is The Christmas Tree Farm by Lori Gilmore. This is the 3rd book in her Dream Harbor series. I read Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Do we remember how much that book blew up? That book absolutely blew up last fall. It's kind of insane if you think about it. And then like very shortly after, she did these other 3 books. She put out these other 3 books, which is crazy. The Dream Harbor series is, and her name's Lori Gilmore. It's basically started as a fan fiction of Gilmore Girls because the author loves Gilmore Girls. So all of her characters have that sort of vibe to them. A small town is called Dream Harbor, just like, you know, Stars Hollow. It's a small town, spicy, festive romance, is what it says. Have never read a winter book in the summer. This will be different. So what happens here is Kira North, oh my god, she named her North. Of course she did. Kira North hates Christmas, which is unfortunate since she just bought a Christmas tree farm. Why'd you do that? In a town that's too cute for her own good. Yes, this town looks very cute actually, based on the other 2 books. And then there's Bennett Ellis as our male main character. He's on a vacation in Dream Harbor, trying to take a break from his life and his constant desire to always fix things. But somehow fate finds Ben trapped by a blanket of snow at Kira's farm, and despite her grinchiest first impressions, with the glow of the fairy lights twinkling in the trees and the promise of a warming hot chocolate, maybe these 2 lost souls will have a Christmas they'll remember forever. Oh, that's cute. That's actually such a cute description. And also, this is giving all of the festive vibes. That looks so cozy. I would love to be in that little cabin for Christmas. That's so cozy. All right, so we're gonna do the Christmas tree farm for winter. It'll be an experience to see what I feel like reading this on the beach. That'll be interesting. Last book on our TBR. Give me a good one, T-Set, please. Looks like that's more an Endgame. Oh, we already did Endgame. Oh my gosh, that's like dead in the center of these two. It looks like it's more towards the top. Been on your TBR for 2 years or longer, shake it off. Calling me out. Totally calling me out. There were a lot of books that have been on my TBR for 2 years or longer. I have no impulse control when it comes to buying books. I need to start taking a tally of how many times this book is on my TBR, and I just keep ignoring it. I feel like a fraud. Are we putting this on my TBR again? Because it's like, you did that like 4 other times, and then what happened? Nothing. We're gonna do the Song of Achilles. This book, if there's a book that's staring me down, it's this book, absolutely. Because this is probably one of the first books that I've ever bought to start my library here. I kept on putting it on my monthly TBR and I kept on not picking it up. And I don't know what I'm waiting for. Like, I think it's because super hyped books like this always scare me. It has a huge bar that it has to me because of how popular this book is. And I feel like that's just so much pressure for me to like love it. There has to be a reason this book is so popular. It does take into account like things like Greek mythology, and when I was a kid I loved Greek mythology. It was one of my favorite things to learn about. Anything to do with Greek mythology I absolutely loved. So I should love this book. It's about Achilles. He becomes friends with Patroclus, who's an awkward young prince that was exiled. They start to go on an adventure to save Helen of Sparta. We're gonna read it. Listen, this is like a very interesting TBR we have. I feel like I haven't had this diverse of a TBR in a long time. Let's go through our TBR one more time. We have the Song of Achilles for Shake It Off, the Christmas Tree Farm for Back to December, Powerless for Your Dream Male Love Interest for King of My Heart, The Serpent, and The Wings of Night for a fantasy, I think it was. People Being on Vacation for Endgame, Happy Ending, Wuthering Heights, our first classic. Wow, are we growing or are we growing? Takes place during the fall, Cardigan, One Golden Summer for Number in the Title, 7, Firefly Lane for Historical Fiction, Timeless. Those are our books for our August TBR. Such a diverse TBR, honestly. We have a lot of like popular ones, One Golden Summer and Powerless, but we also have an adaptation, People Be on Vacation, from my favorite author, and a new author, Kristen Hanna. So I'm excited. This is gonna be a good, diverse reading month. I'm planning on spending every single day laying out at the beach, so we're gonna get a lot of reading done. And yeah, that was Taylor Swift's ERAS, choosing our August TBR. Definitely fun. I just love the little connections they made to the song. I think that was so cool. That is gonna be it from me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.